What up, everyone? It's your boy Zero Brew coming back at you with another video. Welcome to the dark side. You can't even see my cup with the filters we got turned on, but coffee time. Good morning. This is my recording session before I go on vacation. Got my hair did, although she didn't take any off the top. So the faux hawk is in full effect with a little on the side, very short and sharp. That's what they say. I don't even know. By the way, I just want to make a video on kind of what Plarium's doing in the game right now in terms of trying to make challenges more challenging toward the community, and that includes Faction Wars Hard mainly is the main piece of this. And again, for anybody that doesn't know, we have the chance to get Thowlin Foulbeard's 5-star soul. You gotta win 1,500 points, and there's a bunch of events that are going on right now. For example, this event, which is defeat a spider with only demon lord or demon spawn champions. You can only use that faction to defeat this, and of course without really good max HP snookers, really good burners. This run is terrible. Now this is stage 20. I'm tempted to put this on stage hard, but the only problem is we also have a dungeon divers going on right now, and the most efficient bang for your buck is to run stage 20 on a dungeon divers event. So I was hoping to, potentially double dip here, but at 4 minutes and 27 seconds and counting on this champion, it's ridiculously hard. So let's talk about it, but do me a favor real quick. Click the link in my description to get a free Karato as well as Annex, Ugo, and Mausoleum Mage as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Player and Play on a PC and uninstall. Click the link in my description and register with a brand new email. Launch raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champion. Get an awesome start in Raid Shadow Legends with your free Karata Fox Hunter as well as 3 epic champions. Hit the link below and claim them today. I'll see you in the game. Woo! Okay, so thank goodness this ended at 4 minutes and 39 seconds. Only 82 turns to get this done. Maybe I have better champions to run at this, and by the time this video comes out, no one will be able to tell me, hey, Zero Brew, use these champions. I don't even know who to use on this. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. It just leads me to really the main point of this video, and I don't know how to tell Plarium to fix it, but let's just address the elephant in the room. Faction Wars Hard came out, right? So I've still got my crypt keys for today. We are sitting at 611 of 945 points. I don't know, let me just click into the ones that are open today. And that's the other thing, is you can't really go back and look and see kind of the ones that you missed or whatever. So this one, let's see what I did. Manipulate skill cooldowns 15 times. So here's a perfect example. There is nothing fun about trying to manipulate skill cooldowns. Now, White Queen Narcisse does have at least built-in kit, but I'm just going to say on a lot of these runs, they require gear swaps. And there's a whole, economic issue with gear swaps in the game and like how much silver it costs to do all that. But like some of these, it's like, oh, manipulate skill cooldowns. Well, then you may have to take a champion. Oops, I didn't. Hopefully that didn't screw that up, because I'm like, oh, who did I do this with? Right. So there's that also works on gear. For example, this one, right? And a lot of these can be done with gear, right? But so reflex, and I think what's the other one? Extra damage is not merciless. Anyway, there's another one. Let me pause and look. Okay, sorry, it's impulse. Yeah, 12% chance of getting reduction in skill cooldown by 1 turn. Let me take a step back. Let me just take a step back. Okay. Plarium made Faction Wars hard, and I get it. It is end game content, right? It is meant to be hard. They're giving us a big juicy reward at the end. And I will say, for me personally, I was actually enjoying these in the first stages of these fights, right? I did hate that they, put the, kill a boss out there, yada, yada, yada out there. But I would say 1 through 7 was fun. Now, me personally, I skipped doing the Great Hall upgrades, which are the area bonuses. I completely skipped these. And what ended up happening was I got into fighting the boss, and you have to beat that first boss within 100 turns. Again, another challenge that's out there, and I could not even come close to doing it without putting my points into the crit damage and the ignore defense and all that stuff on those. And in fact, this might have been one of the ones that I did waiting. No, I got 2 stars on this, but anyway, that just means I didn't do this within 100 turns, right? And maybe I can do that today. But I immediately knew that there was going to be a problem when the boss was tuned. Again, my account is 3 plus years old. Hey, I have paid to win a lot of money in this game, and my champion roster is what it is. But I will say a couple things. First of all, obviously you need to have all kinds of gear, like really good gear for all of this. And then when I notice, again, going back to the boss, that you could not do it without the area bonuses selected, that means potentially this is overtuned, because let's say you've been playing the game 1 year, right? You have to beat, let's say you've beaten Lydia and you've done all that, and you go into this, there's absolutely no way to do this without the area bonuses and really good gear. And honestly, really good champions too, especially when you start getting into the ones where you can't land weak hits. And these teams that they've done have been specifically tuned to be ridiculously hard. I'll just say, I know for a fact that the one that Barbarians, right? I was doing Seal the Drakes and was getting all the way to the end and was able to get through without weak hits. Only had one champion on my team that was a non-void, right? So I guess technically I could put Affinity Breaker on the champions, right? So I'm going in there with Turvold, Yakarl, Tuwanarok, and Ursaga, right? Sadly, I don't have Odin, but these are the 4 champions I took into the fight, and I'm like, okay, who can I get to do this? And actually, Seal the Drakes is a nice fit in. Of course, she will bail you out if you happen to die or something like that. She was a nice fit in into that team. Maybe I'd try it again next time and maybe use like a Thor or something like that, which is the same affinity as her. But I was able to get through the first 2 waves extremely easy, and then on the last wave, when you get there, it has Ultimate Death Knight, and everybody knows Ultimate Death Knight's passive is the first hit gets redirected to him, and of course he is a Force Affinity, aka the red champion. And so that first hit, and basically at that point you're just praying that RNG, when Syl can't well, of course all she has is the stun and the A1, but when she does her A1, that she doesn't weak hit on that one, and or you try to take all your void champions and try to kill him as fast as humanly possible, which of course the way that they've built these teams is extremely hard, right? Because they're extremely tanky, and just putting him at the end is ridiculous. And again, it's kind of like a puzzle, right? Like that's how they build these stages. It's a puzzle. Gotta go in, gotta figure out the puzzle. Hey, if you use a different affinity, you have waves 1 and 2 you have to worry about versus a magic affinity, right? But it just kind of irritates me that there's a lot of RNG. You have to have a lot of really good stats. You have to potentially gear swap. I was doing Demon Lords the other day, and I never in a million years thought I would swap out my freaking dog, my Fellhound, who's my campaign farmer, which by the way, luckily I did not nerf him enough, but I had to land 15 stuns. Well, in Demon Lords, there aren't any good real stunners. So I was like, oh, you know what? AoE on the A1 for Fellhound here, and I'll put him in a stun set. And you know what? I never did do his masteries. So maybe I have to run him and go get his masteries, and I'll have to take the Fearsome Presence to get an extra 5% chance to land a stun set from 18 to 23. Because I can tell you with his 10 or 12 attacks that he got on the waves, he only landed 4 out of 15 stuns, which is just ridiculous. It is not fun. So I'm sure a lot of the community is kind of feeling the way I am. To be fair to Plarium, they put out the new content. There's all kinds of power creep in the game. Again, we've talked about it, right? So Great Hall affinity bonuses, the Souls and Awakening gear. Now we have relics in the game, empowerment in the game, right? There's all kinds of things, which by the way, shout out to Norog. I just +4 my Norog just because I have the champions and I'm fully maxed out in my faction guardians for skinwalkers. And I said, what a troll would it be to do a +4 Norog? Plus my very first +4 champion on the account happens to be Little Miss Piggy here. But yeah, so you've got, relics, you've got the empowerment, you've got the ascension of gear, right? And obviously I haven't really taken it up, and you got all the new different gear sets and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just pulling up his stats, right? So there's all this stat bloat, right? So yeah, you can just go right here and actually let me put him in Faction Wars just to pull that up as well, right? So area bonuses that just popped in here. So, this would be the stat bloat, right? So yeah, Faction Guardians, Empowerment, Blessings, Relic, and now area bonuses, right? And so I get it. You make the new content extremely hard. And my understanding, because again, when Faction Wars first came out was prior to me playing the game, right? So my understanding is when Faction Wars originally came out, it was also extremely hard and a lot of the community could not do it. And after about a year upon release, they decided to nerf it down. And you know what? We have seen that more recently. Since I've been playing, they have nerfed down Iron Twins, which was extremely hard to get to 15 for me personally. Sand Devils and Phantom Shogun, all three of those have been nerfed. I would say probably a year into their release, meaning making it more available for people that don't have crazy in-game, late-game accounts. So that being said, I get it. Plarium sets the bar here. They don't want everybody in the game to cheesecake it and be done with it in 2 seconds. I understand all that from a game development perspective, and you know, you put your resources into this development and all of that. I get all that. And then, you know what? In a year, maybe you nerf it down, making it more accessible to a lot of people to be able to complete it. I will say right now, I am no longer enjoying this content though. Personally, it's gotten to be way too RNG. And when you get into the RNG perspective, meaning it's random, you have to have some really good luck roll your way. And of course, the further you go up on this, the harder the fights are getting and the more time it takes to complete this, right? We've already said that that's a thing in the game, right? Like, I get it. We got Insta Hydra keys. That's great. Yada, yada, yada. But that's always been a thing in the game, is like time commitment. How much time is it taking me to do this content, right? And so I'm finding myself spending, 1 hour per stage, and I've got 3 stages to run right now currently just to try to get the 3 stars. So me personally now, I've just said, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to try to get through and try to get up as high as possible. And I'm just saying, after hitting the second boss and getting into stages 15, 16, and 17, it's absolutely ridiculous. If you have not seen a stage 15 yet, and maybe we'll just run this and show it now. But if you did not know, beat this stage with all champions alive at all times, right? So, and maybe we can do this with T-Pain. Maybe we can do this with Emic here, because he has the unkillable and the taunt. Maybe he's the perfect champion to do this with. But when you get to the 3rd wave of this, all of them are in stone skin. And of course, they are bringing faction unity champions, which I think that's probably my last piece. So I'm just going to hit run on this and just see what happens. I'm going to let it run on auto while we're finishing out this conversation, right? But which brings me to my last piece. On the factions where I have faction unity champions, and on the factions where I have really good mythicals, right? And I haven't gone too crazy pay to win lately with mythicals and stuff like that. I think I've only pulled 4 on my account. I got the 3 free ones I can get, but I've only partially already dead. This mission has failed, right? So again, we had to probably manual it and do whatever. I'll just hit pause just to show. Yeah, this is already failed. But if you don't know, when you get to the 3rd wave of this, all of them are in stone skin, which again, if you don't have a way to deal with that, which only specific champions can do that. I'm thinking like Prince Kymar has a chance to remove stone skin, potentially. There's a handful of other champions, maybe like a HP burner. I mean, this is just straight up a loss, right? And these are some of my better champions, and obviously this team is not gonna cut muster, and Emic definitely didn't cut muster, which just goes to show that these champions, these waves, are extremely hard. And I have no idea what stages like 18 to 21 are going to be. I haven't quite gotten there yet on all my factions. We'll be there probably in the next week. I don't know. I just wanted to kind of make a video about this and just say, hey, I was one of the more positive people at the beginning of this with the Faction Wars Horde. It was like, I'm really enjoying it. It was like a puzzle kind of figuring out how to win this with your different champions. And now it's just gotten to a complete RNG fest, and the stats are so overbloated that it makes it next to impossible to do any of these runs. So me personally, I'm just going to try to, like, this fight, if I don't have a good enough team to go in with the Sylvan factions to win it or beat it, I'm just going to go in and try to get past it, right? Whether it's 1 star or 2 stars, and with all my people alive, and just get past it and move on to the next one. So I don't know how people are going to beat this if they're not in super cracking accounts. I know where my account's at. I know what I've done on my account. I know where my gear's at, and it's next to impossible for me to do this. So I don't know. Maybe in a year or 11 months from now, Plarium will decide to nerf this and make it more accessible. If anybody has a younger account than mine, I don't know how you're doing this if you're not spending 50 grand. And I mean that legitimately. You have to spend probably about 50 grand to complete this content the way it currently is. And that's to get the gear that you need, and that's to get the champions that you need. Like I said, it is very much overpowered, or I find it easier when I have a faction unity champion and I have potential mythical champions. Sorry, brain farted there. Like one of the easier ones, and I just happen to have Asgard. But I will say, I think I was doing this one yesterday, where you have to get 4 kills with a big hit or something like that. I forgot exactly what that one was. Actually, we can look it up. This one right here, stage 16. Again, like I said, as you get past, stage 15, the third wave has stone skin. Stage 16, defeat 4+ enemies before they take a turn. Or guys, whatever his name is, he actually sets it up pretty nicely because he can do the damage and set up Khan and put the shield on Khan and let Khan on his first hit with his A2, and he can smack. And again, a lot of people didn't go for this champion because they're like, oh, I don't need to go for Khan or whatever. And honestly, dude is a lifesaver. I don't know how you complete that because his A2 attacks on enemies ignore a percentage of their target's defense equal to 50% between his HP and shield, blah, blah, blah. But basically, Arag goes in, and I've showed this team in live arena as well. And might as well just close out the video and just show you that. But this dude does damage to his own team. He just sets up a giant nuke. And so it's easier just to show you in arena kind of what this team can do. So let me show you this. So again, I don't know how you do some of these without certain champions. Because not everybody has every champion in the game, and it does make it absolutely ridiculously hard. Now, they are buffed up. This team is got a ton of protections, but yeah, Arag is A2. You do that into Khan. It does damage and then sets up his big nuke. Now they have the perfect veil and all the buffs and all the stuff that's going to protect them. So I don't know how much damage this is actually going to do on this one, but you see I almost one-shot the Duchess there, right? On that one hit. I didn't see the numbers on that, but watch, we're gonna lose this fight, maybe potentially. But yeah. So again, this big hit with all those protections, yeah, we hit him for 80,000. So anyway, all that being said, I just don't know where I'm at with this on this game. I think honestly, I'm just going to try to get up as high as possible and not worry about getting the 3 stars, because it's extremely time consuming and extremely frustrating to go all the way in like that on these. I really want the champion, but honestly, I don't think I'll be able to get it with my account, which is kind of sad, without a lot of frustration. And then maybe I'll go back and try to piece these together as we continue on the paths to glory, if you will, on these. But it's definitely, I'm not going to be able to get all the stars on this. Yeah, and then at this point, it's just hold out to when they nerf this. And again, it may take another 11 months for them to nerf this content. That seems to be, hey, 1 year in, let's look at our stats. After 1 year, how many people have completed this? I'm going to say out of the player base, I'm just going to throw it out there. 1% might get this completed. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Let's give it another month, and I'll poll the community on Twitch and YouTube. And of course, we'll poll the community through our clan and just everybody who interacts with the channel. And again, special shout out to you for all the love. But that's all I got for you today. I know it's a little bit of a rant video. I felt kind of, because I was very positive at the beginning of Faction Wars, and I felt like I kind of needed to say this and just let you know that I'm actually really frustrated with the content now. I went from this content is amazing, this content is awesome, and I'm really enjoying it, to this is the most frustrating part of the game, and it feels impossible to do. And again, I don't know how Plarium fixes it other than nerfs the stats on some of this, or nerfs some of the stuff. I don't know, and that should not be the way. I think they should be able to create content that's more challenging, that is challenging but fun to do, right? Versus, oh, here's all these crazy restrictions, and by the way, we've made the perfect team to make it next to impossible to do unless you have these void champions or this mythical champion, or you have the faction unity champion, and or you have this special gear that you can only do, and then you have to run it 30 times at 20 minutes a run, and hopefully the RNG falls in your favor, and 1 out of 100 times it goes in your favor and you get all 3 stars. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. So that's all I got to say, and I'll holler at you later. Zero Brew out. Bye.